well. And I think the biggest part about it, what you've learned me as well, is nothing to do with it's not the property side of it, it's a mindset. Like I've always talked to you about, and it's always that's the most important part of going forward as well, because we were kind of just stuck, weren't we, and of like just getting by and just doing things, just doing things normal, like our normal day was just quite regimented, wasn't it? It was just boring. But now we've got like a purpose to help us succeed and to help us grow, and having that mindset, that change of mindset, and having an opportunity with you is just seemed us like more confident. Confidence in us is growing as well. So
I've been over to Skegness a few times, and we've been on viewings together. So do you remember the first time we went viewing and what you were learning then, actually viewing properties? How was that for you?
Yeah, so I've never been to a viewing, never went to a viewing before, and I think the first day we saw four or five properties, and what you were talking about, I took my notepad and pen, and then I actually didn't write anything down. I was just that in awe of just like listening to what you were saying. I was just like, right, okay. I was like thinking. Then at the end of it, I was thinking I should have wrote this down. but then seeing you like carry on throughout the day, you wasn't asking the same questions. You was asking the same questions to some agents, but then there was always different little things that you saw around the property, and asking different questions to each property's necessary. Asking them, and that was the kind of interesting thing, because sometimes I would have gone in there and just asked the same questions, instead of thinking outside the box, and having that with you, looking around loads of different properties that we saw, like bungalows, flats, and just houses, is great, because you see a different light of every single property that you view. And I never thought that. I just thought you just see one view, okay, we're going to flip it, that's it, we'll sell it, and that's done. But there's so much more to it that you can actually do.
I think there's so much more to. Well, I've seen how hard Michael works since obviously everything. And when he's viewed the property, it's not just about viewing the property. You have to come back, figure out the numbers and what you can profit you can get from it, and if it's worth doing. And he does that every single time. He comes home and does presentations and then asks for your advice if it's right or wrong. But it's
great. Let's not. This is a really important part for everyone here. The numbers are singly the most important. They really are. But it's the biggest problem. I don't know what it is, but a lot of investors and seasoned investors just don't get how to work it out properly. And so, that's something that I spent a lot of time with Michael, making sure that he gets that and reinforce. And that's really good. But some of you remember Hook with Dustin Hoffman, a great movie, Christmas movie. And as Peter Pan is at the table and there's no food, and then he goes, why don't you go and suck on a dead nose, something like this. And he goes like that with an empty spoon. And then all of a sudden, that food hits another kid in the face. And they say, Peter, you're doing it. Now, that feeling I had today, because Michael phoned me up and he started to talk to me about what he was doing. And I said, you're doing it. Now, Michael, just tell people what you said to me on the phone. Come on, I love it.
I think I looked at property today, and I already done the numbers before I went to view the property, just in my own head of what they do. Did a bit of research on the area, the road, and the other prices of sold houses. And I rang Trevor up about this bungalow that I looked at. But then I mentioned this house that I've looked at as well. And then I basically just said to him, I was like, look, I've done some numbers, and she's given me some numbers as well that the agent might have thought will go to it. And I said, Trevor, it's just not working out money-wise at all. So I don't think it would work at all, because I can't see anything coming of it. And he was just like, oh, you're actually thinking like an investor now. And I was like, okay.
Go on. Then you were talking to an investor as well. And what did you say to them?
So I was speaking to one of my friends today. I caught him. We had a bit of a coffee and that, and he's got a few properties. He's got commercial and he's got some residential stuff. And we was on about building on just about planning permission. And I said to him, did you realise that between Mablethorpe and Skegness, it's all along the coast, that you can't get planning permission for 5 to 7 years.
A new build, new builds.
Because of the flood, because of the flood around the
warnings, but we've
warning.
not had a flood in all the time I've been alive.
Yeah, but with it being coastal, obviously it's going to be, you are a flood risk area, so they ended up being 5 to 7 years that you can't put planning permission in. And he was like, oh, I didn't know that. I was like, oh. He goes, oh, that's really interesting.
So this was a conversation that I had with an architect when we looked at some land to build 2 houses in the garden. And when I spoke to the architect, he explained to me that the council, East Lindsey District Council, and on the coast there, they were forced in order to get their funding for the next year for planning by signing off saying that no new builds could take place in the area from Mablethorpe to Skegness because of the flood risk zone. Now, they didn't agree with it, but if they didn't sign off to get that next 7 years funding, then central government would have taken over the planning for it. So they signed off on something they didn't believe in. And the council are now fighting and appealing against central government to get it changed. So local plans last for 7 years. And there've been 2 years now where they hope to get that part of the agreement turned around. But you can't do new builds in that area because of the flood risk. So it's a really interesting one. But straight away, there is Michael, advising people, and it's brilliant, and it's a really good thing. So look, I'm going to take you through a little bit more. So some of the things that we've done, because people have said, I really like you to mentor. So I'll just give you some of the things that we've done. We looked at goal setting. What do you want to achieve? One-to-one education and training. Viewings in Skegness. We'll look at something there. Learning about defects. And so is it fair to say, Michael, when you go to look now at properties, you see properties in a different way?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? And you are looking at its potential. You want to see what's wrong with it, but you're looking at its potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when Marie met me for the first time, she said, oh my goodness, but I could do something with it. Do you know what I mean? She saw the potential. She didn't see. Anyway, so the defects, very, very important. How to calculate deals, all right? And I'm going to show you something that Michael's done in a minute. Understanding viewings, very, very important. Turning up on time, what to look for, when to go, and really how to do it properly. Dealing with agents. So, Michael, is it fair to say that the agents that we have met, most of the agents we've met, they know who I am now?
Yes.
What about this one? What about this one? Can you see that?
Yeah, Sweet Dreams, Kate, yeah.
Sweet Dreams, Kate, all right? So Sweet Dreams, Kate, is that she gave me a number. And she said it's funny because, we get these funny calls for Sweet Dreams. It must have been, some sort of parlor before. So I said, I'm going to call you Sweet. So I did call her. And someone said, can I tell her who can I speak to Kate? She said, does she know who is calling? I said, yeah, just say it's Sweet Dreams. She said, oh, who is it? But she remembered. So all of that about being memorable is very, very important. Presenting deals. So we've got something we're going to show you. All right. Negotiation, very important. Okay. And that's ongoing learning. There's many ways to negotiate, especially as you saw on the show. I was doing that with Marie all the time. Did we buy the bottle of wine? Well, interesting. We only bought it once. It never went back to the shop, but that's another story. Networking, agents, very, very important. And that's something that when lockdown changes, that's very much something that Michael will be doing more of, networking and finding investors. And that's, that's something I've asked Amira to help with, to find people who want to invest in Skegness, because I'm sure that that's something that I can help Michael, and Michael will be finding them for investors, and that would be a good income stream. But what are you looking for when you look at property? Well, look at this. And I have to say, although we do a lot of stuff in Cambridge, when my son's there and we've got a refurb firm there, but the finishing of properties always astounds us. And no matter where we go, I wouldn't be surprised to see this wherever I am with poor workmanship. this one here, how about that? I'll build you an arch and it'll be a great feature. I don't know if they had too many beers in the afternoon, if the sun's too hot. I haven't got a clue. And then this one's one of my best ones. I like that, because if the door doesn't open the right way, let's not put a sliding door. Let's just cut it. And so can you imagine if you're on the toilet? Anyway, these are the things that can happen. So you need to look. But more importantly, what do cracks mean? This is really, really important. So we've done a little bit of work, Mike and I, but there's a lot that cracks tell you about a property. And that's something that Mike and I will grow together, and I will show more and more. But, you know, what does this mean? Does this mean you should run away from a property or not? Interesting. But this is all about your education when you look. Now, most people, they see any crack, they're going to run a mile and they say, oh, I don't want to touch it. Bless you if you sneezed. But but the thing is, if you know what the problem is, you can tackle it and change it. So it's never to be scared. It's always to be informed. All right. That's the truth about property. One of the things, look, stuff like this, we went through on the induction, estate agents. Look, mindset is number one. It is. And you set yourself up for disappointment. This is the truth. And I think I said that very soon after, you know, we met. And I said, this is not an easy journey. This isn't, there's a lot of trainers out there that say, give me your money. You're going to make that back in, you know, a couple of months, and you're going to make £1 million and everything like this. And, you know, Leslie and I know what people do. Anyway, the truth is, there was a wonderful teacher called Jim Rohn. Sadly, he's gone now, business teacher. But he said, until you learn to love failure, you'll never be successful. And, you know, in property, you will get there. You will get right there thinking the deal is going through, and somebody gazumps you, which means they come in and put a higher offer and they buy. In Scotland, that is illegal. I think that should be here. But unfortunately, you think you're there, and until exchange of contracts document, you know, contracts are signed, you haven't actually got it. And, you know, when you think you're there, you know, you've got to have a hard skin. And it is a life of disappointment. But then again, it can really be life-changing as well, which is it gets. And remember, the more that you kiss frogs, the more you're going to find that prince or princess. And that's true, whether it's a good deal. Okay, so with this, when you're going in, you know, you must perfect your pitch. Every no is not no forever. Learn from every no and get better. Michael, what did you say to me about today, about when you went into, because after the call with the Mirror, we had a chat, Michael and I, and you said about when you telephone the agents now. What's that like? Because you said that.
Yeah, so when I first called them, I was very nervous in just speaking to them on the phone about property and trying to view. But then as I've done quite a few phone calls, met a few as well, it just seems, it's got easier, and I felt more confidence in that. And there's two specific ones that ring me, and sometimes they cancel. So every time I answer the phone, I was like, hello, is that okay? Is that Mr. Howard? I was like, yeah, are you ringing to cancel again? I was like, oh, no. And it's just the kind of little things like that where it makes them feel a bit more comfortable, and it makes me feel comfortable. So we've got that little bit of a connection where they always say, oh, no, I'm not ringing to cancel this time. We're just making sure that everything's going to be okay. And, you know, just making sure that you're coming to the viewing. So it's kind of connecting like that. It's nice, the fact that I'm getting to know all of them, and it's not just the one specific one either. I'm always going around. I'm ringing them every single day, so I think they're getting a bit annoyed with me ringing them for stuff. So they say to me, once we've got something, we'll let you know, and we'll send it through to you straight away, and we'll get you in for viewing, which is nice, because sometimes I don't have to ring them and ask for them. They ring me, which is a great connection that I've actually built with them already.
So some of the things, so when those people, they don't ring you, a good tip for you is you go and buy a tin of biscuits, and you walk into the agent and say, listen, I haven't heard from you a long time. That's good, but I'm sure something's coming for me. I bought you some biscuits. And he's like, and they actually start feeling that they're beholden to you. So, you know, it's just about, and the thing is, you live in Skegness. If I was investing in Skegness, I'm not there. I can't have that daily contact. I can't pop in and see them. So that's really important that they get to see you and meet you. So good stuff. Right. So here's an opportunity. So this here is something, and I'm going to come out of this screen and share a different screen with you. All right.